Paris-Roubaix, or as it's also known, the Hell of the North. Whichever way you put it, Paris-Roubaix is one of the most action-packed races of the year. It brings the curtain down on the cobbled classics, which has already seen Philippe Gilbert claim a superb Tour of Flanders victory. The 2017 Paris-Roubaix includes an extra 3 kilometres of cobbled roads and 2 sectors that haven't featured in the race since 1987. Almost anything can happen at Paris-Roubaix, but Hero Cycling uses 10 riders to watch for the Hell of the North. Matt Hayman took a surprise win at last year's Paris-Roubaix, out-sprinting 4-time winner Tom Boonen to take the victory. He'd been forced to prepare for the race on his home trainer following a crash, but he was race ready nonetheless. He comes back as the undoubted leader for Arca Scott, with Jens Kuklier and Luke Durbridge as backup. Throughout much of the season, Hayman's in the domestique role, but Paris-Roubaix is his one real day to shine. It'll be difficult to repeat his performance from 2016, but he'll certainly try. Tom Boonen's illustrious career will draw to a close at this weekend's Paris-Roubaix. Boonen might be a Flandrian, but it's the French race that made his name, and it seems fitting that it will be his final professional outing. The Classics got off to a shaky start for Boonen, but his performance at the Tour of Flanders shows that he was in strong form. He'll just have to hope there are no technical problems on the cobbles. If Boonen were to win, it would make him the most successful Paris-Roubaix rider ever, with 5 victories. Paris-Roubaix is one of the few races that Peter Sagan hasn't totally mastered, but he's well on his way to doing so. He finished 6th at the race back in 2014 and claimed 11th last season despite getting caught behind when the race broke up. Positioning will be key for Sagan if he doesn't want the same thing to happen this time out. This year he'll be going in with plenty of fire in his belly and a point to prove after missing out the Tour of Flanders last Sunday. Quick-Step Floors has shown time and again that they've got quality across the board, and Niki Terpstra is another that could deliver them to success. Terpstra is a former winner of the one-day race, taking victory ahead of John Degenkolb in 2014 after a solo break. This season, Terpstra has been in fine form, with 4th place in Gent-Wevelgem and 3rd at the Tour of Flanders. There'll not be just one protected rider at Quick-Step Floors for Paris-Roubaix, and Terpstra will have plenty of competition within his own team for the top spots. John Degenkolb is the 4th former winner on this list, having taken the title 2 years ago. This will be Degenkolb's first ride at Paris-Roubaix since that victory, after missing last year's edition while he was recovering from a horrible training accident he had last January. Degenkolb's spring campaign has been a bit hit and miss, and his DS Dirk de Mol said last week that the team were not where they should be. He's been much more consistent over the past week, and 7th at the Tour of Flanders is exactly what he got the year he went on to win Roubaix. After finishing 2nd at the Tour of Flanders, Greg Van Avermaet will have another shot of victory at Paris-Roubaix. Van Avermaet has enjoyed the superb classic season, and the crash with Peter Sagan at Flanders was the only real blot on his copybook. With the form he's had, he'll no doubt be disappointed with the runner-up spot, but he'll have had a week to regroup. Van Avermaet's Roubaix record isn't as strong as his Flanders one, but he was still on the podium back in 2015. Alexander Kristoff is a rider whose skill set should be well suited to Paris-Roubaix, but the race has been a bit of a mixed bag for the Norwegian. He's been working on his power this winter, and that showed earlier this spring when he outkicked Marcel Kittel in a drag race at the 3 Days of Depana. His best finish was 9th back in 2015, and he'll want more out of it to salvage something of his classic season. The team also has Tony Martin as joint leader. The German made his debut at the race last season. With Sepp van Mark still suffering from the injuries sustained during a crash at the Tour of Flanders, Cannondale Drapac will have to look elsewhere for Paris-Roubaix success. Step forward, Dylan van Baarle. The Dutch rider salvaged Flanders for the team with his impressive 4th place, 2 better than he did last year. Van Baarle's been growing in stature at the Classics, quietly putting in solid performances. He finished 16th at last year's Paris-Roubaix, and with his form he could broach the top 10 for the first time. Oliver Naesen is yet another rider licking his wounds after a challenging Tour of Flanders. The Belgian escaped with lesser injuries than some, with just a few cuts and bruises to speak of, and should be in full fitness for Paris-Roubaix. Naesen has been the rising star in the Classics pack and looks set to finish well at Flanders before the crash with Van Avermaet and Sagan. 23-year-old enjoyed a strong showing at last year's Paris-Roubaix with 13th place, and in the form he's in, he could be a realistic option for the podium. Arnaud Démare is the last on this list and perhaps something of a wildcard. Démare has previous at the younger category editions of Paris-Roubaix, finishing second in the junior race and fourth in the under-23 one. At elite level, Démare's best finish was 12th back in 2014. The season has been a bit up and down for Démare, but there have been some promising performances such as his stage win at Paris-Nice and 6th at Milan-San Remo. If he can make it into the right move, then he has the turn of speed to beat a lot of riders to the line.